The 2025 Kansas City Chiefs NFL draft picks have yet to even don shoulder pads in the presence of NFL veterans. Taking that into account, we have to ask the question, what better time for 2026 NFL mock draft, Chiefs mock draft than the present moment? Now, right on the screen right now are the PFF simulator, which I used for this, only allows 5 rounds for the NFL draft. So that's what I did here. And these are the picks. We will go through them one by one. But first, I wanted to have a brief overview and then do some first round analysis. The Chiefs have the 29th overall pick in the draft this coming season, projected by PFF. Round 1, wide receiver Denzel Boston out of Washington. I keep doing that. Then we have round 2, pick 61, defensive tackle Caleb Banks out of Florida, who I think might be a first rounder. So we will see how this coming season shapes up. Round 3, cornerbacks DJ Harvey out of San Jose State. Round 4, pick 116, tackle Brian Parker II out of Duke, the analysis for which you will absolutely hate me. And then round 5, pick 168, edge Patrick Payton out of Florida State. I believe he transferred to LSU for this coming season, though, so maybe I'm wrong, but here is the first round as the simulator has it. Interesting notes from the first round right now. Caleb Downs out of Ohio State, a safety at the first pick. Very unlikely to happen. Malik Muhammad goes 21 here. I have messed around with the mock draft simulator to this point. A lot of times I'm getting Malik Muhammad down here at 29. Also worth noting, Cade Klubnik, the quarterback out of Clemson, going before Arch Manning, the quarterback out of Texas. Cade Klubnik becoming a Brown, Arch Manning becoming a Jet. There are 2 other quarterbacks in the first round. Down here at 14, Garrett Nussmeier to the Steelers. And also at 27, Drew Allar to the Lions. I think Drew Allar is likely to be a top 10 pick. I think he would have possibly been a first-round pick coming into this season, into the 2025 draft, I guess I should say. And then just the last general observation here, just to sort of get this on the table as a talking point. When you look at this first round here, you will see 4 players out of Clemson, 4 players out of Texas, 3 out of Alabama, and 3 out of Penn State. Just those 4 schools are about a third of the first round of the NFL draft. Why is that notable? Well, it's notable because it's unlikely to happen. A lot of times websites are divvying up their resources, allocating their resources to scout certain schools first. So, for example, Cade Klubnik is one of the top quarterbacks in this draft. Of course, you're going to have a lot of scouts at Clemson. Are Peter Woods, TJ Parker, and Avion Terrell all top 11 picks? Hard to say, but they have the resources poured into that school to figure it out. Also, there is only one player from Ohio State represented in this first round, unless I missed something. That is highly unlikely to be the case. So, Denzel Boston out of Washington. The wide receiver, 6'4", 209 pounds, projected to run a 4.52 40-yard dash. That looks to be about right to me. He does not seem to be a blazer, but he's not a slow guy either. That is right there with the Rashee Rices of the world. So you can succeed in the NFL with that type of 40-yard dash. His college productivity here comes down to 1 season, 13 games, 63 receptions, 834 yards, with 9 touchdowns last year. How does he do this? Well, he is a great route runner. And look, He's not the fastest guy in the world. He's not the most sudden guy in the world. He does not look to have the greatest change of direction abilities in the world, but he is a good route runner. And Jimmy Smith for the Jaguars in the late 90s, one of the things that opposing cornerbacks said made him so difficult to cover was that the first 5 yards of every route that he ever ran looked exactly the same. I will not say that that is the case here for Boston, but what I will say is that he kind of has a similar thing going in that I don't think the first 5 yards of his route are not completely dependent on the cornerback either. So he doesn't kind of doesn't care where the corner is. He knows where he's going to be, and he runs his routes that way. He does not give or tell anything about the routes based on where the coverage is. I think that is a good thing. I think he would have been drafted in the 2025 draft if he left after last season. That 834-yard, 9-touchdown season would have been promising enough for someone to take a gamble on, but I think he is putting himself in position to be a first-rounder after coming back. He is a big target with a big catch radius. That 6'4" frame, 209 pounds, might not be the biggest, the heaviest wide receiver in the NFL. If he can put on 5 pounds or 6 pounds and get to 215, he will look great out there. He is sort of a long, skinny athlete right now, so I do think he has the frame to get up to at least 215 and not sacrifice any speed that he has. But this would be a type of target that with whom Mahomes has not played at this point in his career. Rashee Rice will be entering the final year of his rookie contract in 2026, and it's hard to think about right now, right? But next season will be the 4th year that he is in the NFL. 2025 will be his 3rd season. So the Chiefs need to keep bringing in talent at these positions, and bringing in a first rounder here does not seem to be the biggest gamble in the world to me. And if you have you will be losing Hollywood Brown after this season, so you will keep a stacked 4 deep at wide receiver by plugging in Boston there. So he does look like a tight end on contested catch situations. Those 9 touchdowns were not by accident. He is a very, very strong wide receiver at the point of the catch, and that is a tool that Patrick Mahomes would love to have in this offense. Then we go to round 2 with Caleb Banks, defensive tackle out of Florida. 6'6", 325 pounds, projected to run a 5.20 40. You will see him listed at 6'5". You will see him listed at 6'6". You will see him listed at 6'7". You will see him listed anywhere from 315 to 330 pounds. Now, the thing with him is, when you start looking at his production here, Louisville did nothing. Goes to the SEC, racks up 24 games, racks up 23 tackles here, 17 solo tackles, racks up 40 combined tackles. In these 2 seasons, racks up 9 tackles for loss and had 4.5 sacks just last year. In my opinion, when everything is said and done, Caleb Banks will be a first-round draft pick. He does not have a whole lot of miles on his tires. He so far has been a rotational player at Florida. I think he will earn a lot more reps this season and will play himself into being a first-round talent. Has become an effective pass rusher from the inside despite being 320-plus pounds. Those are normally run stuffer weights, that 320-plus pound range. He has a full arsenal of pass rush moves, however, that keep him in the backfield to get those 7 tackles for loss and 4.5 sacks on the 2024 season. Despite his size, he could be more effective versus the run. And that might be why we saw him come back to college for this coming season. I think he could have been drafted in this last draft. I think that if he has the type of season which he's capable of having, if he improves at all on 2024, he will be a first round pick. So it would be great to get him at the end of the second. Then DJ Harvey, cornerback out of San Jose State, 5'11", 176, projected to run a 4.44. The stats here will remind you a little bit of Noel Williams. Not a whole lot during his time at Virginia Tech. Transfers to Ohio State, racks up in 2 seasons, 23 games, racks up 62 tackles, solo tackles, racks up 50, 60, 70, 86 tackles total. Then he has to add to that 9 tackles for loss as a cornerback, 9 tackles for loss, 2 sacks last year, 4 interceptions last year, and a touchdown on top of that. And over the last 2 years, 11 pass deflections. He will need to keep getting better if he is to be a third-round pick, but he is a very athletic corner that is kind of outclassing all of his competition there at San Jose State. This coming season is had a 90.6 PFF grade for the 2024 season. Worth keeping that in mind. This is Joshua Williams and Jalen Watson's final year on their rookie contracts. Najee Johnson is on a 1 year. He's done a lot of time on the practice squad. And that is not to mention the fact that Christian Fulton next season in 2026 will be in year 2 of a 2-year contract. Look, in the NFL, you always have at least 4 defensive backs on the field, so it makes sense to keep these guys coursing through the roster. Just pump picks into the defensive backfield. This is not a safety. This is a cornerback. I don't think he has upside at safety or downside at safety, depending on how you look at things. But the Chiefs do right now have plenty of safety help, and they have bigger corners that they could convert to the safety position anyway. So this would be, in my opinion, a strictly cornerback move for the Kansas City Chiefs, and that would keep them kind of rolling at defensive back, which they will need to do. Then Brian Parker, Duke offensive tackle, listed at 6'5", 300 pounds by the Duke website. 100% honesty. This pick was made because Parker was the highest rated offensive lineman available by the PFF simulator at the time of this pick. I had, prior to the pick, done 0 work on Brian Parker. Still, all I've done is a little bit of reading. So not any actual film evaluation on Brian Parker II, actually. But I knew I wanted an O-lineman in the first 5 rounds. We got to pick 4. I was looking around, and he was kind of at that point where it made sense. He was one of the best rated players available at this pick. He is a redshirt junior. Some places say redshirt sophomore. He has been out of high school for 4 seasons. It just depends on how the COVID stuff counts. So if he does declare after this season, just by kind of process of elimination, it does suggest that he has the goods to make it in the NFL, because if he didn't, he would just come back for his next season of football. So if he does declare, if he is available, it does suggest that he has some of the goods necessary to make it. He is a 2-time All-ACC performer. He has, prior to this season, 20 career starts. So, should he remain healthy, it would seem obvious that he crosses the 30-start mark this season, which would be promising for him moving forward as an NFL draft player. Then we have, finally, Patrick Payton, Florida State edge player. Top of my mind, I thought he transferred to LSU. That is not what any of these websites say, so I could be wrong on that. 6'5", 250 pounds, projected to run a 4.65 40-yard dash. You see there on your screen a guy who had, as a freshman, 5 sacks. That was a second-year freshman, so he redshirted his first season, but 5 sacks nonetheless, 3 pass deflections. Then he came in and 6 tackles for loss. 2023, he moves up to having 15 tackles for loss, 7 sacks, and 10 pass deflections, but he missed a couple of games last season, dropped off more than that from a productivity standpoint, to where he had 11 tackles for loss compared to 15 the season prior, 4 sacks compared to 7 sacks the season prior, and 0 pass deflections compared to 10 pass deflections the season prior. Now, looking at him, he does look like he will have long arms. That is something that is important to drafting at the edge position. So hopefully, it looks as if that will be something that he possesses. He will check that box. Because he is such a long athlete, he looks like he would be able to add 15-ish pounds and not miss a beat. Unfortunately, he also looks like he will need to add 15 pounds to that 250-pound frame in order to make it at the NFL level. I do think that he is a guy that will be a better pass rusher than Mike Danna at the NFL level. I don't know if he's going to be as stout against the run. The Chiefs, at this point, seem to value high motor, high toughness players. I am not sure that Peyton is either of those things. This is not to say that he isn't. This is not to say that I have seen reason to believe that he is not. But a lot of times you watch Ashton Gelati for 10 seconds and that motor pops off the screen. I don't necessarily see that with Peyton. This will be a pivotal season for Peyton because he stands to make himself a lot of money or lose himself a lot of money. If his play takes a step back from the 2024 season, which was itself a step back from the 2023 season, he could find himself falling out of the draft entirely. However, if he improves on the 2023 season, I think he could skyrocket up boards and find himself as a second rounder for sure. If he improves on the 2023 season, adds 10, 15 pounds, and runs a sub 4.65 40-yard dash, these are the types of athletes that can push themselves into the first round. That is all I have for this video, a mock draft of the 2026 Chiefs draft. If you like or appreciate this sort of thing, hitting the like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other Kansas City Chiefs fans. If you find yourself here by chance but not design, the Chiefs are the only thing I talk about on the channel, dropping multiple videos every single week. And as always, I hope to have you back for the next one.